Yes, good afternoon from here from Lagos. I think Olamide is also in Lagos. Great to have you on the How
Thanks
to
for
CEO podcast. I'm really excited. As I told you before we started recording, you're one of the smartest people I know. So I can't imagine doing something like this without having a talk with you because I do believe a lot of early stage startup CEOs stand to benefit from your wealth of knowledge and experience from Somewhere to running Tap now, leading the largest micropayment solutions in Africa. I can brag the world a bit, but I'll let you introduce yourself, then we'll dive right in. Thanks again for being here.
Oh, okay, thank you so much for counting me worthy to do this. When I saw it, I just jumped on and said, Yemi is about to do something great. I have to be part of it. So my name is Olamide. I'm privileged to be leading a team of very smart people. What our new mantra now is we are trying to make it. We are making it possible for everybody to pay digitally. So we realize that where we are, it's not so much about just digitizing and processing microtransactions anymore, but it's enabling, people at the bottom of the pyramid to also be able to pay digitally. And that's like our focus for this year. So we have a product called Kauri, which is a bit more popular than even the company name Tap. That people use to pay for BRT, first and last mile buses, the rail. The red line is launching very soon. And then we are in several states, Oyo, Ogun, Oshun, Ekiti. I mean, we are just going all around the place trying to ensure that we achieve this mission. Thank you so much for having me on this.
Yeah, great work, man. We go way back to 2019 when we were both grinding and launching and iterating. So to see all you've achieved is really humbling. So the first thing, a question I really want you to answer is in your own words. What's the difference between being a founder and CEO? Do you agree there's a difference, and what do you think is the key difference between being a founder and a CEO?
Yeah. So interestingly, I was listening to listening to a podcast recently where I'm just going to shamelessly borrow the person's word. Not every founder should be a CEO, and for me, the difference simply is that the fact that you have an initial idea, an initial passion or vision to bring something to life doesn't mean that you have the ability to lead it. The person said, and I quote, a CEO must be a contrarian, must be able to be patient and still be able to achieve results. A CEO must be able to give value to shareholders and still be able to make the team happy, and also the client happy as well. So you have to be like a walking paradox to be a CEO. You need to be able to have people skills, ability to sell, so many things. But I mean, you can be a founder, you can just conceive an idea and not interested in being a CEO because it comes with a lot of other requirements that so many people don't may not have or may not be happy to develop along the way. Well, some people are just born CEOs that they are able to they are like a sponge. They are able to learn all these things along the way.
Wow, I think the highlight was the walking paradox. Because similarly, I was listening to something yesterday. I think it was Big Think, and we are talking about CEOs must master different paradox, right? And that balance is actually what is required to excel. So over the years that you've led the awesome team at Tap, so what is the one thing that surprised you the most about being a CEO? Like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this, or I didn't think it would be like this. Or what surprised you the most?
Yeah, a couple of things have surprised me, but I think what will topple that will be how very, very reliant people can be on you. So most times we just need to get out of our own way and let people do their stuff. So Steve Jobs said something that you need to hire smart people and let them tell you what to do. But in our reflection, when we feel like we are at the top of the game or something, or we are like the leader, the top leader, the top dog, somehow we always want everything to revolve around our state of mind, our thinking, our own action. And one of the things that have surprised me is how very smart people really are. If you actually let them be them, if you actually support them to, you know, take the vision forward. And I think that we don't give our people enough credit. One of the things that we were just supposed to do as leaders, as CEO, is just to make the vision very clear. And the rate at which people will run with it, even when you, the CEO, you are tired, someone on your team will be checking you up, and you are wondering what's really going on here. This is supposed to be my own vision. I'm supposed to be the last man standing here. But then, I would say that stand out as one of the things that has really surprised me. How when the vision is so clear, people can really, really go the extra mile, even more than you, the person that have conceived the idea.
I couldn't agree with you more, Olamide, and I think clarity is one of the most underrated parts of leadership. And one mistake I see CEOs make is that they don't see a lack of clarity in the organization as a reflection of their inability to communicate. They see it more as a lack of comprehension on the people they are leading. The moment you begin to take responsibility that, hey, um, if I can't drive clarity, that's on me to communicate better, as against that's on them to actually comprehend. So exploring different techniques, developing your communication skill is highly important. And
Yeah,
just like one someone I respect really much said, he said, as a CEO, you can be the biggest reason why your company succeed, and also the
yeah,
biggest hindrance to your company actually never reaching to its full
yes.
potential. What do you love about your job? What do you love about being a CEO?
Well, so initially when we were growing up and if people ask you, "Oh, what do you want to be?" And then you say, "Oh, you want to be this, you want to be that," we all think that the role of a CEO is very glamorous. You are the
Yeah.
boss. When the boss is coming, everybody stand up. It's far from that, to be honest. Really far from that. But one of the things that makes me so happy and excited about the job is the fact that you have the ability to work, or the opportunity to work with, very smart people, and you have the opportunity to listen to them, um, expand the idea or expand the business to places where you would have never thought of. And you are also able to, work with clients and, customers alongside, and listen to them. And the way they will talk to you is different from the way they will talk to any other person. And they will level up with you. They will try not to, and depending on how you present yourself, not to hide anything, because they feel that you are the ultimate decision maker. I think that that's
Mm,
one of the interesting part of the business, where you are able to get undiluted advice if you are willing to listen.
mm.
And then you're willing to do something about it. I think that's one of the things that I like so much about the role. But there's nothing
I
glamorous there.
I couldn't agree with you more. You're 100% right. And there's one thing Bezos would say, because you sort of have to like engineer people to speak up by default. He said something. He said people are not truth-seeking beings; they are more social beings. They
Yeah,
want to be acceptable. They seek acceptance. And one of the things he does is speak last. Every meeting, he doesn't set the tone. He wants everyone else to speak before he actually shares his point of view, because he knows how powerful his position is. So sharing
yeah,
his thoughts can sort of like change the so what don't you
yeah.
like? What don't you like about being, what's the one thing you don't like about being a CEO?
Mm. When I thought about it, I think it will be more around ass lickers. So when you have ass lickers
Mm,
on your team, which speaks me to the point of people are more, social beings. So I deliberately behave not as the CEO, as I behave as
mm,
an ordinary guy, so that
mm,
people will not will not see me and feel a sense of way, or create a sense of illusion in their mind about how they should relate, and just start throwing things at you. And I think that in Africa generally, that's the way you see an elderly person, prostrating, doing stuff. And as someone told me a story, he said one of his very close friend was a governor in Oyo State. And when the governor left the office, all the people that used to come, everybody that used to call him just left. And he was just gisting with him, and he said, what happened? And he said, "Oh, the friend of the governors are gone. Now it is my personal friend that I remain." So to be able to differentiate between people who are
Mm.
there because they are the CEO and people that are there because of you is very so it's very easy to lose yourself in the whole facade. And I think that is one of the most horrible things that come with it, especially when it seems like you are going to be successful.
To be honest, man, being grounded is so important because if you lose God, as our people say, it just gets into your head and you start acting pompous and,
Yes.
things can go down a
You wouldn't
spiral
even know
then.
because people will enable you.
Yeah,
It's
you
terrible.
just find yourself acting up and they're pushing you till things implode. So, I know you take fitness seriously, but I want to dig in a bit more. Like, what are some of the habits? Guys, you see him, he's very buff, like extremely fit guy. So the camera is not doing justice. So what are some of the habits that you imbibe that makes you a great CEO, you think? Morning routines, healthy habits. What are some of the things you try to do that, you know, gives you that clarity, gives you that strength, sort of gives you that capacity to lead? What's the size of your team now?
Sorry?
What's the size of your team now? The size of your team.
I think you are over 150, I think.
And what
170 or
do you
there.
do to people? 170 people. What do you do?
Okay, so when I wake up in the morning, of course, I have a treadmill. Sometimes I run maybe for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on how I
Wow.
feel. Try to do some push ups. And then I have some podcasts that I follow. Business Untitled is very great. It's a group of
Hmm.
billionaires sitting down talking
I'm
about
stealing that.
America.
Okay.
So
Keep
I
going,
have
keep going,
Naval.
keep going.
So it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. And then so sometimes I just open YouTube, I just let it play and I listen while I do the
Hmm.
workout or try to get ready for the day. And then once I'm done with that, I spend 5 minutes to write down what I want to achieve for the day. Because it's very important because the day can just go by and we've achieved nothing, even though so I spend like 5 minutes to write down what I want to achieve for the day. And of course, the day goes the way it normally goes, different issues to solve, everything. Then in the evening, we have a gym instructor that comes to the office from 5 o'clock till maybe 7 or 8, depending on how the spirit leads. We work out and tire ourselves. Then after that, I come back to the office. I'm trying to, learn fast API, Python, ChatGPT, and all those things. I say that I need to create an hobby before I start going to club. I, I I need to find a good hobby for myself. So I will check that out. If I still have some energy in the tank before going home at night, I will read some books. And then I'll go home and find a way to scroll through Instagram,
Hmm.
Instagram reels that must have been sent, chat with a few friends till I sleep and the day starts again. But Saturdays, I
Wow.
mean, I don't take fitness less serious. Saturdays, I sleep so much and I work out. That's all I do on weekends.
Rest and recovery is important. So I like team 5 a.m. I wake up or 4 a.m. ice bath. You do anything on those crazy things. So
It's as it's really so. Sometimes I'm still awake to one. There's no formula.
I can relate to that, man. Some days your brain is just still on and you just want to tap into that energy. And I couldn't agree
Yes.
more. Yeah, so that's really amazing. The fact that you have a gym in the office and you have like a fitness instructor that comes to the office, that's something that's really cool. And what CEO do you admire in Africa, you personally, and why? Who's one CEO that you really, really admire in Africa? Right.
Yeah, I admire you because
Oh,
I've sneaked into your
guys, it's not
into
because
your
it's on my
thoughts.
show. He really
No,
admires
no,
me.
no,
It's not because it's on
no.
my
It's not, it's not just because it's your show. I'll sneak into your talks, to listen. And I mean, and it's not a flattery. I think that you are very grounded. You read a lot, and it reflects in the way you handle your business. It's very commendable. It's very nice. So I just follow the path. Sometimes when you post things, I read everything without commenting, so that you won't know that I'm taking a sneak peek on you. Then Then I also think that Olumide boy is very smart. So some guy, one of our staff, sent me his book. You know, he wrote a book,
Advantage, yes.
and he sent me his book, and I had the opportunity to um, just read it a bit. This is a book, Vantage,
Yes. Yes, great book.
and reading the book, it made me respect him a bit. I mean, a lot, not a bit. Um, my life out and startup, and I think that's one of the few CEOs that I think that they are very solid.
Amazing, amazing. So, if what about in the world? What CEO do you admire in the whole world? Like, and if you say any of the top popular ones, I will cancel it. And why? If you say the popular ones, I'm going to just cancel it. So please dig in. I want to hear a CEO I've not heard of. So please let's go.
So really, true story. There is someone that I was working for immediately I left the university. I was working for, his name is Mr. Shegun, uh, and he genuinely, without anything, nicknamed me Elon Musk. He called me Elon Musk. So until today, if I call Mr. Shegun, he say, Elon Musk, how are you? And because most of my ideas were, ad tech, crazy stuff, just like Elon. And I think I admire him because I think that he's one of the few people that would take things that we call fantasies when we were small and he made it a reality. When so, oh, there's traffic, boy hole inside the ground, and let car pass through. And he's making it possible. Oh, there is no light. Why can't you put solar panel everywhere? And he's just doing all that. And today everybody thought he was foolish, and today people listen to him. So he's one of the CEO with all his controversies and craziness. I really think that is really smart and is going to get us somewhere. Apart from him, I think the other CEO in the world that I think I really admire, that he really made something incredible, will be Steve Jobs,
Hmm.
because he, I don't know. I hate
I'm
Apple.
going to find you. I'm going to find you. Yeah, I'm going to find you. But go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I
Go.
don't have an Apple. I have two phones. They are all Android. I hate Apple so much. I don't use any of their products. But what that guy has done in America and the whole world is really crazy. And I always say that people overlook the fact that when it was time for him to step aside and bring in the CEO of PepsiCo to come and lead the company, he did that. So he understands the power of being a CEO and being a founder, which speaks to what we are talking about today. Um, Sometimes it can be your baby, but you can actually have somebody else nurture it better if you think the person will do a better job. Like I said, I believe to get out of our own way. It's one of the reasons why I really admire Elon Musk. And I mean Steve Jobs, and I think that propelled Apple. And it's still, even though there's no innovation, iPhone 15 is just titanium. That's the only innovation there.
Vision Pro. What about Vision Pro? Vision Pro is not innovation. Eh? Don't worry, I know what to get you for your next birthday. We're going to initiate you into this Apple fan culture. Don't worry, I got you. I got you.
Yeah, but there's something there really. I must confess.
I get you. I think that's deep. And when you look at how generational what they built is, it's totally marvelous. And how long it took, that's one key thing that people don't think about enough. How long it actually takes to build a a monumental business. Even the people that say move fast, break things have been doing this for how many decades now?
Yeah,
So people
I
do not
mean,
understand that.
Facebook is 20
That's
years now. I was
yeah, 20
surprised.
years. Yeah,
Yes.
like it's 20 years. They are big enough to paying dividends. They are paying
Yes.
dividends like
Yes.
Coca-Cola. That's huge. That's huge. So my next question for you is as CEO, if you could make a wish to run any company in the world besides your current company as CEO, like hey, I would love to be the CEO of X company. What company would you pick?
Ah, that's deep.
Like, hey, I
In
wish
the,
I could be
in
the
the world,
CEO.
not in Nigeria, in the world.
Yeah, in Nigeria. In Nigeria.
In Nigeria, I would love to run MTN.
Hmm.
I would love to run MTN.
There's a lot
But
to
in
unpack there.
yes, yes. No, those guys. But in the world, I think I would love to. I would love to run a Google.
Hmm.
I would love to run
Hmm.
a Google.
Why? I'm curious. Why?
So basically, I think that people don't understand the power of some of these companies. I mean, we can keep saying one company is $1 trillion and all that, but in terms of impact, some companies will never die because
Hmm.
they've changed the world forever. If you look
Hmm.
at the amount of Android device, the amount of power Google has today with their device in almost every home, there's hardly, maybe in the US, maybe, but I mean, they sit in, if there are 7 billion people in the world and say 3 billion of us use a smartphone, I think Google is probably sitting in more than half of those homes,
Yeah, I
listening,
agree.
gathering data, doing all sorts. And the impact that they have in people's life today is just so, to the point that we don't even think about it. It's like here.
Hmm.
And if we just close our eyes, someone said that to be very smart in this world, you need to think in the negative. That, for example,
Hmm.
if the color blue is not, there's no linguistic for it, there's no name for it, it doesn't mean that there's no color blue. Color blue is still there, but it's just that you don't know. But you know that it's not orange. You just don't know what to call it.
True.
So
Hmm.
now, so that's like a mental model that the guy has. But if you put it in the perspective of Google disappearing today, you
Hmm.
understand how important they are. We are so used to them now that we don't even
Hmm.
think about it. Just launch YouTube, you listen to your podcast, you fire up your phone, you do all sort of things. But I can't even imagine a world without it anymore. It feels like hell. It seems like that's how hell is going to be when we don't have some of these big companies anymore.
The, to buttress what he said, there's something Kanye West would say. He says he wants to be so good that he'll be forgotten. Like, as you said,
Yeah,
things are so good that you forget it. Like you don't think about who invented the stop sign or the traffic light anymore because it's actually so functional. So a lot of those companies have reached that level of excellence and output.
exactly.
Young upcoming startup CEOs, founders that are looking to craft their identity as CEOs, um, that are finding out the hard way that there's a difference between being the founder and a CEO, that are finding out, that they need to up their skills. What advice do you have for them to, what should be top of mind for them?
Yeah. So I think that for me, this whole journey, it's very, someone said that if you take a very successful person and you make them live their life over and over and over again, like live their life, copy and paste the way they live their life, the opportunity that they took, the exact time and everything, there's a very high chance that they may not succeed
Hmm.
if they follow their own template. So it's very hard to say, oh, this is what you need to do. If you do A, B, C, D, and E, you will see that what always come out is there's a very high chance. It's still a probability. It doesn't mean that it's definite. So, but one of the things that I've seen that is constant in every mostly successful CEOs is that they're a learning machine.
Hmm.
They learn and they don't take learning for granted. If you see any leader or any CEO or anybody that takes learning for granted, chances are they are most likely not going to be very successful. Even if they are successful, if they had learning to it, they stand a chance to be more successful. So everybody, one of the patterns that I've seen is that they don't miss the opportunity to learn. And I think that that would be like the top of the mind advice that I have for any aspiring CEO. You need to be a sponge to just soak in learning. You just make sure that
Hmm.
every single day you have one or two things to learn. And like Charlie Munger said, or what's this guy's name? I think it was Charlie Munger that said, if all you have is a hammer, everything you everything will look like a nail to you. So what learning does is that it gives a lot of tools in your toolbox, and everything
Hmm.
is not like hammer. you don't need to apply the same principle to everything. So you are able to use games theory, you are able to use different model, Benjamin Franklin model, different mental model in decision making and in solving a problem.
Wow, I think be a learning machine. I think um, that's I can relate to that to be honest, and I think it's one of the most important arsenals of. I think that captures it all. All the general advice, being a learning machine is so deep. So I have two more questions before we go into the fun part. And for you, the first question is, what do you think is the most important skill for a CEO? Like if you had to pick one, like if you had nothing else, this one. And secondly, what is your number one book recommendations to CEOs?
Okay, so for me, I think the most important skill a CEO should have will be being resilient.
Mm,
Resilience. And the reason I picked being resilient is that it is tough. And sometimes you are not even prepared or ready for the kind of issues that may come up. People issue, customer issue, regulatory, different issues. But if you are the kind of person that you always have the mindset of we'll figure it out, we'll figure it out,
mm,
we'll figure it out, and you always live up to that. I think it's one of the biggest skills. You don't even need to be the one to write all the codes. You don't need to know how to write code. You don't need to know how to talk to customer. You don't, but ability to say, oh, this has come, I need to figure it out. And you are able to do that either by hiring the best person that can help or tapping into your network and tapping into a resource that can help you sort it out. But the ability to, when there's a pressure, you get on it and you fix it is a very great skills to have. And then the second question, which is what book will I recommend um, for a CEO? So it's interesting. I would recommend The Black Swan from Nassim
okay,
Taleb. It's a very crazy book that
that's
don't
what I'm
talk
laughing.
about. So the interesting is that I read the Black Swan before COVID. I mean, way before
Mm.
COVID.
Ah,
Before we
perfect
even
timing,
imagine
man.
exactly. And at the end of the day, it's about things that could happen. There's no black swan really. It's only white swan that we all know.
Mm,
But if you have a black swan, that's an outlier. It's a complete outlier.
mm,
And to be successful, you need to be able to be prepared for outliers, and you need to be able to also spot an outlier and get ready for it. So it's a book that has a lot of very interesting tip about being ready for the worst thing or things that nobody could have even thought could happen, and then be able to, work that into the way you think, the way you build your stuff. That even if the most unexpected thing happened, and there was one part of it that I really liked, which was about taking laziness as an asset.
mm,
So
mm.
I always say that the reason why some people work so hard is just so that they can be lazy. So
Oh my god. Is that your all-time favorite book or is there something else that you love all time? Is that your all-time favorite book?
yeah, there are so many books that I think that they are very great. But the reason why that is just because today there are so many things that keep coming to surprise us.
Yes.
When
Mm,
someone will just create a YouTube channel and become a millionaire, somebody will invent a cryptocurrency and become a billionaire,
mm,
and you can never know what is coming. So traditional businesses are dying fast, new ones are coming in very fast, and you really don't know which one is going to change the world. And the reason why
mm.
I pick that as the all-time favorable is just because of so many things that has happened in the world in this very short time. That have, and I just always refer back to Nassim Taleb prophesied this. So
Mm.
we just have to be ready when another
Prophet
one come,
Nassim Taleb.
another
So now to the fun questions. If you could hire any superhero as your COO, which superhero will you hire?
not Superman. He
Ah, why
has
now?
talent. He has talent. I want someone that can. I want Batman. I'll do Batman.
Batman,
Batman.
really?
Yes.
Hmm. Well, he's rich. That would be a rich COO, Sha. Very risky. Oh. Funny rounds are sorted. I like the way you think. I like the way you think. If you had
He's
to
the
do a TED
CEO.
talk,
I think he's the CEO of Gotham City. CEO. He makes all the
well,
problems go away.
well, of Justice League too, so true. He keeps
Yes.
everything together.
Yes.
So, if you had to start a side hustle now that is not related to anything you do, what side hustle would you start?
Interestingly, I'm thinking about one. There is I was just chatting with a friend in the US, and we spoke about how very terrible Nigeria is, that even we don't have any form of manufacturing
Hmm.
company that is really manufacturing things that people use on day to day. So if I'm to start a side also, I'll go into manufacturing. I'll bring in plants to manufacture things that people need from day
Olamide,
to day.
manufacturing is your side hustle. Manufacturing. That's deep. I fear you. And I fear who don't fear you. Manufacturing. Okay, that's fine. And my final question before we end this: what's the worst advice you've heard as CEO? Like you're like, what kind of advice is this? The worst advice you've ever gotten as CEO. Don't mention the
Ah,
person. Just say the advice.
yeah, it will be don't raise money. Don't
Ah,
raise money.
I know. Like, yeah, really, okay. No risk there.
Bootstrapped
That's
it
a
and
really
successful.
Mailchimp, Mailchimp did it. Mailchimp did it. Olamide,
Exactly.
thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I enjoyed myself. This 31 minutes went by so fast. I'll just let you end this in your own words. One parting advice to the world, to startup founders, to our ecosystem, to Nigeria. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. I think it's everybody should know that trying to run a business is not going to be easy. There is no favorable path. Every part of it will come with its own challenge, but it is worth going through it when you win. um, the whole sorrow and pain goes away. Just like a woman in labor, when they see the child cry and they carry the child on the woman's chest, the relief, the first initial pain relief, that's exactly how it feels when you win. So go through the mud, go through the storm, dance in it, and just make sure that at the end of the day, you are very successful.
Olamide, thank you so much. Couldn't have ended it any better. Um, Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Have a great year.
You guys.
I look forward to TAP digitizing all the microtransactions in the whole world, not just Africa. And yeah, thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate
Thanks for being here.
all the success for Flex too.
Thanks, brother.
All right, Chief. Thank you.